Most people believe strength arrives in rare moments, when emotion rises and resolve feels effortless. They wait for clarity, for confidence, for a rush they mistake as readiness. When it fades, they assume the source of strength is gone and turn back. Yet the ancient warriors of Japan understood a harder truth. Strength is not discovered in moments of inspiration, but forged quietly through repetition when nothing feels rewarding. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated swordsman, wrote little about passion and a great deal about practice. He warned that reliance on emotion weakens the mind because emotion cannot be summoned on command. Musashi believed that the body must be trained to move correctly even when the spirit is uncertain. This principle, long forgotten, still governs the difference between those who endure and those who drift. Chapter 1. The Invisible Weight. Hiro lived with an unspoken sense of incompleteness. His ambitions were thoughtful and sincere, yet his progress remained inconsistent. Some weeks he moved forward with focus, while others dissolved into inactivity with no clear explanation. He believed he lacked drive, unaware that what he lacked was structure. Zen teachings speak of the mind's natural resistance to effort. The mind seeks novelty and comfort, not mastery. Samurai training did not attempt to correct this tendency. It was built around it. Hiro was fighting his nature instead of designing around it. What felt like a personal failing was actually a universal condition. Without repetition, effort relies on mood, and mood is never stable. Strength that depends on feeling is strength that cannot be trusted. Chapter 2. Musashi's Hard Path. Musashi trained alone for years, often hungry and exposed to the elements. He believed that refinement required friction, not encouragement. His discipline was not heroic. It was repetitive, quiet, and often unseen. Each strike of the sword was an act of submission to form. Hiro first encountered Musashi's words with skepticism. The idea that repetition mattered more than insight felt limiting, almost lifeless. He wanted understanding before effort. Musashi offered the opposite, effort before understanding. Bushido teaches that refinement occurs through form long before meaning emerges. The warrior does not practice because he understands. He understands because he practices. This reversal unsettled Hiro, but it planted a seed. Chapter 3. The Non-Negotiable Habit. Hiro decided to remove choice from one part of his day. He selected a single action that required no preparation and offered no immediate reward. Every morning, without exception, he repeated it, regardless of mood or circumstance. It was done quickly and without reflection. Zen monasteries are built around schedules for a reason. Structure quiets the mind because it eliminates negotiation. The body moves and the mind follows. Hiro noticed that on days he resisted the most, the action mattered the least. In repetition, resistance loses its voice. The mind grows tired of objecting to what never changes. Strength begins here, not in resolve, but in inevitability. Chapter 4. Elimination over intensity. Samurai training valued removal over ambition. They removed hesitation, distraction, and unnecessary movement. Hiro began applying the same principle. Instead of adding effort, he reduced friction by simplifying his environment and routines. Every eliminated choice conserved energy. What remained became predictable. Predictability removed drama, and with it, doubt. Hiro found himself acting without internal debate. This was not excitement. It was efficiency. Bushido does not glorify intensity. It values control. Control is born from repetition so extensive that the body no longer waits for permission. Chapter 5. Identity shaped by action. Musashi warned against cultivating an identity through language alone. Words can convince, but never confirm. Identity is shaped through repeated behavior, not declarations. Hiro stopped thinking of himself as someone trying to improve. Instead, he allowed the repetition to speak for him. Each action completed, regardless of effort, solidified a quiet shift. He no longer evaluated his discipline. He observed it. Strength revealed itself indirectly. There was no moment of triumph, no emotional surge, only the growing absence of resistance. The identity formed silently, like stone shaped by water. Chapter 6. The Role of Silence. Silence occupies a central place in Zen, not as emptiness, but as clarity. Noise disperses attention. The samurai learned to act within silence so that thought would not interfere. Hiro practiced completing actions without commentary. The internal voice that once judged each attempt grew quieter. Repetition rendered it irrelevant. When action precedes thought consistently, thought learns restraint. Silence did not dull perception, it sharpened it. Hiro became more present as he stopped narrating his efforts. Strength emerged not from focus, but from absence of interference. Chapter 7. When repetition feels meaningless. There were days when the action felt empty. No progress was visible, no satisfaction followed. Hiro questioned the purpose but continued regardless. This was the test Bushido never avoids. Musashi wrote that the way is revealed when effort persists without reward. Repetition becomes purifying when it is no longer tied to outcome. The act itself becomes the standard. Meaning returned quietly, not as motivation, but as stability. The repetition had created a foundation that no longer required explanation. Strength had detached itself from emotion. Chapter 8. Strength that does not flicker. Over time, Hiro noticed that his behavior no longer surged or collapsed. Effort remained steady across good days and difficult ones. Inspiration became irrelevant. Whether present or absent, action continued. This steadiness was unfamiliar, even strange. There was no excitement to chase, no slump to escape. Bushido trained the warrior to remain unchanged by circumstance. Strength that does not flicker does not announce itself. It withstands pressure because it was built without dependence on mood. It endures because it was forged in repetition. Conclusion. The way repeats. Ancient Japanese philosophy does not promise transformation through insight. It offers something quieter and more durable. Structure repeated until resistance fades. Strength is not summoned, it is installed. In repetition, the mind learns obedience. In silence, identity is shaped. Inspiration may visit, but repetition remains when all else withdraws. Strength is built not when you feel ready, but when you return again without ceremony. This is the way that does not impress, yet never abandons those who walk it.